going on, guys? Hey guys, so what is going on? So guys, today I decided that I'm going to come up on here and I'm going to do um a little bit of a story time for you. Actually, not a little bit. I'm going to do a story time for you guys. And I've been wanting to do the story time, and I think I have done it a while back. But since it has marked 10 years, I am going to do the story time. So as per the title, you guys saw that, I'm going to be talking about when I had a partial hysterectomy. So I'm going to be talking about my before I even knew I was going to have it, and then my after. So I hope it's not going to be too lengthy. If it is, I hope you guys stay into it, listen to it. I think it's important. I mean, it was important. It was important for me. So I hope it says some information. Maybe I could be, helping someone out, or just, anyways, guys, I am going to say before I get up into this video, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I know lately I've been doing a little bit of trying to keep you guys a little something short, a little something, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But yeah, I wanted to come on here and I just wanted to talk. So 10 years ago, February 20th, 2014, I had a partial hysterectomy. Now I'm going to rewind and go back before. So I've always knew I was anemic. I was anemic. I always had, low iron. That's anemia. Low iron. So I always knew that, and I had to take iron pills, and I was taking iron pills at the time, but I was getting like so tired, very tired. At some point I literally could fall asleep or just, it was crazy, and I didn't know what was going on because at that time I was regularly going to the doctor, getting my yearlies, doing all things like that too. So it was this one time which something was just so off with me, and we were just chilling, and I just threw up. And I was just like, oh, something's not right, and just like out of the blue, like something was wrong. And I always kept feeling so like, I don't know, crampy. Always like, and I'm a very gassy person too, a little, maybe too much information, but I am. So I'd never really thought about anything like that. And my periods, dude, they were like so heavy, like to the point where the fact when I had just put a tampon on, I would be bleeding out. So then I tried to put a tampon on and a pad. And literally within an hour, I would bleed out. I'd be at work sometimes, and I couldn't even control it. Like blood would be like on the back of my pants. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I didn't know what was going on. Like I knew at that point I was something wrong, because I couldn't even bear these periods that I was getting. It was just so much. It was so much pain. It was crazy, and you're Adam, you get like feel pain. I always felt pain, and just like so one day after work, I decided that I was gonna just drive myself to my doctor. I just drove there. I just didn't have an appointment. I drove there. I literally drove there, and I was just like, I'm not feeling good, and obviously she's like, I can't see you, we have to make an appointment, She did take my prick to check my iron. She says, oh my God, your iron's really low. I had to start, I was taking my iron pills, but she said my iron was low. I believe she said she wanted to see me, so I did get an appointment within a week. So when I went to my appointment, of course, she wanted to do like an ultrasound and check everything. So within the ultrasound, which in the second she had me lay back, check, she's like, oh, forget it, like what she saw was this. It was this, like literally the size of a grapefruit. And I'm gonna put a grapefruit in the picture so you guys can see it. But if you know what a grapefruit looks like, a size of a grapefruit down, like, right there. So the size of a grapefruit was a fibroid. So I have fibroids, I guess. I did not know I had fibroids. I didn't really know what a fibroid was. So it was a huge fibroid, which she said, we'll talk about that. I'll get there. But so this fibroid, but she said it needs to be removed. She goes, you need to have surgery you need to have it within the next 2 weeks. My doctor says that what she wanted to do, because it was life-threatening for me, if I didn't, I could possibly have died if I didn't get a partial hysterectomy. So you're like, partial hysterectomy? I'm like, what? And just to dumb it down, it's, we are going to have to remove your uterus. So the uterus was going to be gone, but they were going to keep my ovaries. Now, I've always had like a system. I left ovary. She saw that. She says, when I go in, I don't know. I'll see if I need to get it removed or not. So yeah, remember that part. So anyways, so I was like, oh, freaking out. I'm like, a partial hysterectomy. I'm like, I'm not gonna have a uterus anymore. I really didn't have time to like process anything, because at the time, what you hear and what I heard is you could die if you didn't do this. So I was like, okay, it had to be done. So my surgery was set for February 20th of 2014. So yeah, I had to get that done. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking back and I'm like, oh God. So yeah, so up on that day, you know, like, it was, you know, it was a outpatient surgery. So meaning that I would get the procedure done and then I would be able to go home if everything went well that night. So I checked in the morning, which I had to, my surgery was in the morning. So I got there around, I'm not really sure what time I got there. It was still dark outside. I had to go and do the check-in and everything like that. Of course, anytime any woman is going to go get like, hysterectomy, which I know, they want to make sure that you're not pregnant at the time. So, you know, I take a pregnancy test. I'm so scared. I'm going through all this process. They're, you know, getting me all prepped up and just everything. And that Kim could come up to a certain point with me until I had to go into the, you know, the ER or whatever. The OR, I believe, I think it is, till I had to get going for surgery. And I was very nervous. I didn't know really what to expect. I didn't know. And so I do know, I just looked at the nurse who was prepping me and everything, and I was like, you know, I said, could I die through the surgery? You know, and I guess if you ever go under any anesthesia, have any kind of procedure, you can, there's always a possibility that you can die. So I was very scared. So the nurse, she gave me something to kind of relax me and calm me down. The next thing I knew with the whole thing is I was getting, you know, I was on a, going ready to go into the surgery, and Kim, you know, she walked to a certain point with me, and then that was it. So I get in there, and the anesthesiologist is standing over me, and they knew I was nervous, so they started talking to me about my pets. And literally I was like maybe on one pet, and only thing I remember is when I woke up, I was going crazy. They were like, oh my God, they had to go find Kim, and I was like going nuts. It was, I was like, where am I? You know, just kind of, I don't really know, but I just remember, and I remember they're going to go find, you know, Kim, and then they're like, if she doesn't calm down, she's gonna have to stay because she doesn't know where she's going on. You know, like, we need to keep, she needs to be calm. But I came out of there like hype and ready, like, what's going on? Where am I at? Why am I, this thing in my nose? Like, what's, you know, like just freaking, because literally, and I think about this often about the surgery, is when I was like under, I didn't think of anything. It's like, I felt as if I didn't exist. I didn't even know. Like, so when you're coming out of something like that, you don't know. I didn't know. I had to get all my thoughts and everything back, but I didn't. They couldn't get me to calm down, get me to like recognize where I was. I don't even know if I knew who I was at that point. And I'm not saying it's being funny, but like I don't think I did. So anyways, Kim came in, and you know, you recognize a familiar face, and then only thing I remember her looking at me like, we're not paying for extra night. And I'm like, you know, straighten up real quick, because now this is serious, you know, like. So that whole process of having to stay there, getting up, I didn't get up, obviously. And then I was wheeled into a room. They had to check me out, make sure everything was okay. And then I remember hours later, we were getting me dressed. And it was very hard because I couldn't like do much because I was in pain, you know. I just had a partial hysterectomy, which the surgery was, how they did it laparoscopically, which was 3 incisions. So like I have one here, and then right there. So through the belly button is where they, is the camera that they have so they can go inside of there. And through the sides is where they take the tubes, and this is where they pull all of them, the uterus and the fibroid and all that stuff from out of. So that is what that is. Also, while I was in the surgery, I was in there longer than I was supposed to be. I was in there, it was only supposed to be like a 2-hour surgery. I believe I was in there for about 4 hours. Excuse me. I was in there for about 4 and some hours. So Kim was really worried. I remember her mentioned to, you know, like what's going on. They were having a couple issues, I believe. And so I know a lot of it came from out of the left side. And even to this day, believe it or not, I could still feel pain, you know, like, not like a pain. It's just like every once in a while, it's like, you know, something, I don't know, like something happened, or I don't really know how to describe it as much, but I know it's something. So yeah, so that happened. Partial hysterectomy 10 years ago, from February 20th of 2024 is when I had the partial hysterectomy. I still have my uterus, I still have my ovaries. Now, when I was mentioning about the cysts that I have in my ovaries, my doctor said when she was in there, she said it looked fine, it's not growing, I'm not gonna touch it because it didn't need to be touched. So I still have the cysts, or like the, you know, on my ovary, but and again, every once in a while I may feel it, or it doesn't bother me, and if it did, I would definitely know. I'd probably be in excruciating pain, and I would be at the doctor with that. But so that's fine. Now it brings me to the aftermath of the partial hysterectomy. It wasn't my choice. I didn't want to have that happen. I had to have it happen because it was life-threatening. So didn't have a chance to think about, oh, do I want to, you know, have any kids? I mean, I do have my son, and you guys know I adopted my son. But yes, so I have my son, but like I didn't have any kids of my own. And I felt like, and I think in the aftermath of it, like sitting back thinking about it, made me think like, man, I didn't have a choice. I could have, but I didn't. And I know I always wanted to, but I didn't. And like, it thinks me like, oh man, could there have been a different way? Like, it's all of what could have been. I'm very grateful that I am here on this earth. And I'm happy that like my doctor caught it, and I went in and I got it taken care of. But for me, not having something, a part of my body that I was born with, really, it brought me into a depression. Not right away though. Later, I got so depressed. I was depressed for many of years, and on and off here and there, you know, like I was not me, you know. There was a part of me that was gone, and there's no way to get it back. And I know people think, oh, it's a blessing in disguise and I have a period, but like, that's, I don't know. I can only speak for myself, and I can only speak from how I felt. And I did get depressed after, not right away after, but eventually, later on I did. So me wanting to share this story with you all, you know, there's good with bad, but I think we have to know ourselves and know how to handle it and how to continue to go on living. And for me, it was very hard. And it is still hard, like, you know, a little here and there, you know, think about like not having a uterus and not having a period. Now, I want to say one thing also about that. I still have my ovaries, and since you still have your ovaries, you still get period symptoms. You still get the cramps, the tenderness in your breasts. You know, you still get moody. You know, and you know, so I'm still going through the motion. I just don't have the blood to come with the period. And as far as like menopause, you don't go into early menopause if you still have your ovaries. You still have your ovaries, you are still fine. Now, if you had a full hysterectomy, then yes, you would have to take, you know, medication, pills, you know, to help with that, because you would go into early menopause. So yeah, so that is what I've been dealing with for 10 years, or a little over 10 years now, because we are past February. And it's still shocking to me. I still check, you know, I'm like, oh, am I okay? And I just, because it happened. I look at my scars, which are very minimal. They're very little. They're not really much. I can't even see the one in the belly button because I know that one was used mostly for the camera. I mean, it was just something that I went through in my life, and it was something big, and it was something major. But I am very thankful, and I continue to say this, thankful for still being able to be here on this earth right here, living my life, you know, with my family, just living, you know, just being grateful for it all. Even with being depressed, I still can find some ways to be grateful. You know, being depressed about, like, you know, I don't know, I really want to get into, like, oh, you know, but I feel like when there's something that you were born with, that you came on this earth with, and it's now gone from you, you know, and it was a part of me that could have brought lives into this world. Myself, it hurts. It sucks. But, you know, gotta keep moving. You gotta keep living. And fibros are not a joke, guys. They're not. And like I said, that one was the size of a grapefruit, which she said there was a little couple other ones in there too that she took out. But the one that was the size of a grapefruit, it was like harming me. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even function. I couldn't. It was taking over me. And, you know, they do test them, and it was benign. Benign means it was cancer-free. It was not cancerous. So, yeah, you gotta watch out for those things too. I know there's a lot of different things and ways they could, you know, cut out the fibroids without you losing your uterus, but sometimes if it's hugely detached to your uterus, and it I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I mean, the doctor knew best, and I trusted my doctor. And yeah, so I really wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys found that helpful. You have any comments, please drop them in the bottom. I'll feel free to answer them for you. Yeah, so thank you guys for taking the time out and just being here with me. And talk to you later.